What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Dark Shadows, starring Johnny Depp and directed by Tim Burton. Now, Dark Shadows is based off an old 60s soap opera that I am not familiar with whatsoever. So I'm just going to review Dark Shadows for what it is. And what it is, I think it's a decent horror comedy. Now, this is a Tim Burton movie, so you're going to get what you're going to get. You're going to get a visually good-looking movie with some good creepy atmosphere to it. And you're going to get just a basic flimsy story just to stitch everything together. And that's what Dark Shadows kind of has. It has just a basic premise. It follows the character of Barnabas Collins, played by Johnny Depp, who who about 200 years prior to the events of this movie, he and his family moved from Liverpool to Maine to become fishermen. And all the while, this girl named Angelique, played by Ava Green, kind of falls head over heels for Barnabas, but Barnabas does not reciprocate those feelings. So, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Angelique pretty much makes Barnabas' life a living hell. She kills she kills his parents and turns him into a vampire. And then Barnabas gets attacked by the town folk, locked in a coffin, where he is trapped under the ground for 200 years. Now we flash forward. This movie now takes place in 1971 or 72, and Barnabas is now back to roam the streets, and he gets to interact with the modern day culture of where he is in now. So that's pretty much the overall premise of Dark Shadows. Now, I don't know what this show was like as a soap opera, but as a comedy, I thought this movie was pretty good. This ain't the greatest performance that Johnny Depp has put on. He's been in better Tim Burton movies like Edward Scissorhands and Ed Wood, but I enjoyed him as Barnabas Collins. Johnny Depp is one of those actors who can disappear into those off the wall, just kooky roles, and the character of Barnabas Collins is no different. Johnny Depp, to me, he pretty much makes this movie watchable. But he is surrounded by a pretty good cast. I like Ava Green as Angelique. I thought she was pretty good. Chloe Grace Moretz in this movie, she's fine. Michelle Pfeiffer is in this movie, who plays a descendant of a Collinwood. I thought she was good in the role too. This movie also has Jackie Earle Haley, who plays Willie Loomis, who is pretty much Barnabas's handler in a way. Though I don't think this movie utilized the Willie Loomis character to its fullest potential. I'd like to see more of that. Helena Bonham Carter, she plays a psychiatrist who at first she's trying to help this young kid named David, who recently lost his mother, and he's now seeing his mother's ghost. And all the while he's kind of dealing with a lot of psychological issues, which is why there's a psychiatrist there. But all the while you have his dad, who is just an ass. David's dad kind of sucks, especially when you get to the last half of the movie, where he just takes money and disappears when he finds out that Barnabas is a vampire. Parent of the year right there. Horrible person. Now the movie kind of hints and teased that David and Barnabas were having kind of a sort of a relationship going on, like an uncle nephew type thing. Though I don't think they had enough scenes to really sell that. It's mostly said through dialogue, which I was not a fan of. And just because you have one scene of David saving Barnabas at the end of near the end of the movie, that doesn't mean they had a full relationship throughout the movie. I would have liked to see more of that be expanded upon. Like I said, it's mostly said through dialogue, and I don't care about that. Another thing that was okay, but still kind of weak, was the love story. So pretty much the reason why Angelique was jilted by Barnabas was because Barnabas fell in love with this other girl named Josette, who was his true love. Then Angelique killed Josette. So we have this other girl named Maggie, who was the governess of David, and Maggie resembles Josette, and pretty much the entire movie is Barnabas trying to woo Maggie. And there are moments where it's kind of fun, but I don't think Barnabas and Maggie have enough scenes, at least for me, to really sell their romance. Especially since in the middle of a movie there's a montage that kind of glosses over a lot of things. So it kind of makes everything, so it kind of runs flimsy. Like, this movie is more worried about just gags and about Barnabas interacting with 70s pop culture than it is about telling an actual story. Because, like I said, whatever story is there, It's really flimsy and it's just there. This movie's all about telling gags and having a pretty visual and having a pretty gothic visualness to it. That's pretty much it. Like as a movie, it doesn't really have a whole lot to offer. Now, does that make it a bad movie? No, it doesn't. Because I said I think this movie is really enjoyable, and I do like a lot of the gags. I also like some of the cameos in this movie. You know, Christopher Lee makes a cameo as a fisherman, and he has a nice little scene where Johnny Depp kind of like brainwashes him, which is kind of cool if you're familiar with Christopher Lee's history in movies. That he used to play Count Dracula, and now a vampire is hypnotizing him. So it's kind of a nice little callback to Christopher Lee's roles with vampires. So I thought that stuff was good. And like I said, Tim Burton, he's a visual marvel. And this movie, it's no different. This movie is strikingly beautiful. Like I said, it has a great gothic look to it, but it also has some decent comedy in it as well. Probably the most funniest scene is Barnabas and Angelique having the most roughest, angry sex ever. That's pretty much the best comedic scene in the whole movie, and I like that stuff. But Barnabas being the straight man to what's happening around him, and him seeing a lava lamp and not knowing what it is, that stuff is funny as well too. So yeah, like I said, and of course this movie does have a lot of randomness that also happens as well, because the psychiatrist gives Barnabas a blood transfusion, all the while she wants to become a vampire because she wants to have eternal life, and she's kind of jealous that Barnabas has eternal life. And midway through the movie, we find out that Michelle Pfeiffer, that Chloe Grace Moretz is actually a werewolf. That comes out of left field, because I don't think the movie even hint or teased at the fact that she could be a werewolf. It just kind of happens. I mean, you do have some throwaway lines here and there where maybe it was hint and teased at, but if you sneeze, you're gonna miss those throwaway lines. So it just comes out of left field. It's almost as if, okay, this stuff was in the TV show, so let's put it on screen just for fan service for those who actually enjoyed the Dark Shadows TV show. But looking back at it from a movie perspective, it kind of comes out of left field, and the whole climax of this movie is completely over the top. I mean, it's enjoyable and entertaining, but whatever. I think my favorite scene is the whole happening scene where we get to see Alice Cooper, which I thought was pretty cool because I'm a Cooper guy. So yeah, those are just my thoughts on Dark Shadows. Overall, I said I enjoyed this movie. I think it's okay, and I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Tim Burton has done better movies. Johnny Depp has done better movies, but for what this is, I think it's a good watch. It's not boring, and you're going to be entertained by it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Dark Shadows. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.